I'm here to tell you guys that you do not have to quit your job to start making profits in the market. It doesn't require you to be glued to the charts 24 hours a day like you've maybe been told. Now I'm going to break down a 6-pillar system that allowed me to actually break through from working a 9 to 5 and being stuck in the loop and stuck in the trap to being completely financially free in terms of doing what I want when I want. Pillar 1 is know your sessions, right? Knowing your sessions is going to be super crucial for you to be able to actually execute, because we need to build, the whole purpose of this is to build a plan around your routine, right? And let's say your routine requires, like you work a 9 to 5, and a normal 9 to 5, and you pretty much are busy during London session and New York session. We can then work a routine around that, right? I.e., you could be looking at the markets before you go to work, pre-London, and marking out your levels, setting your alerts, blah, 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 all for that. Let's say you work like I did. When I was working in the warehouse, I was doing ridiculously early shifts. So I was doing from about 5 a.m. till about 3 p.m. Therefore, I'd wake up towards the back end of Asia session. I would be fully working throughout pre-London, and then I would be on my first break maybe during London session, where I was able to spend 15 minutes or 10 minutes while I was eating, looking at the charts and marking out maybe trades or areas or levels that I was interested in. And then New York session, because I finished at 3, around 1 o'clock, I was on my second break. So I was spending I had 2 breaks, a 15-minute and a 30-minute, and I'd be spending that second break also, right, potentially looking at setups. Not the full break, I understand. Look, if you're working, the last thing you want to do is be wired 24/7, like you just want to relax, all right? You've been busy all day, you just want to relax. Cool. You don't have to sit there staring at the charts. Go heat your food up, go do whatever you want to do, but spend 10 minutes, right, detached, isolated on your own, sit in your car, maybe go and sit in a spare room if you have a spare room, or I don't know, whatever job you do, right? Get some alone time and just dial in for 10 minutes. Mark out exactly where you're looking to trade based on pillar 2. And pillar 2 is the night before. Make sure you're marking out the charts. So make sure on the night of, you go and sleep, ready for the next day, you're marking out the charts so you know exactly what happened that day and what that means for the next day. Because the market is literally a story, right? You just got to be able to read the story. And it pretty much means that before you go sleep, spend 10 minutes. Again, guys, trading does not require you to be on the charts 24/7 hours a day. It literally requires 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, blah, 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 and boom, all of a sudden you made profit. Spend 10 minutes before you go to bed, and I get all of my guys to do this. They operate on different time zones. Some from Australia, they operate on that time zone, so they can't trade New York, they're asleep, but they can trade London session. Some operate, whatever it is. The night before, make sure you're marking out the charts. For the UK guys, a lot of the time they work 9 to 5s or trade e-jobs or whatever it is. And this is super crucial for them and it helps a lot. They actually mark out the charts, their key levels, their highs, their lows, the trend, the bias for the week, etc. the night before. So when they go into the morning of the next day, when they wake up, they can be ready, exactly knowing what they should be looking for. They don't have to reanalyze the market all over again. They know based on the daily closure from the night before or based on how the day went in terms of the sessions, Asia, London, and New York from the day before went. They fully go into the market prepared, right? War is what the market is. You go into the market, right, every single day ready for war, right? It's you versus the market. You either eat or be eaten, right? Simple as that. You either kill or be killed in the markets, and that's how it goes. And if you're not prepared for war, if you're not prepared for the next day, you're never ever going to see any results from it. Okay, pillar 3, now leading on from that, is spend 10 minutes before you go to work, when you wake up, looking at what price did throughout the night. Okay, so you've missed an important bit of data while you've been asleep, i.e. price playing out. Maybe it's Asia session, right? If you're from the UK, and you need to assess exactly what happened overnight. So based on that, wake up, spend 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, that's it, while maybe you're making breakfast or while maybe you're having a shower. I know a lot of you lazy fucking buggers like to wake up last thing, roll out of bed, not even shower, brush your teeth and fuck off straight out the door. None of that, guys. That is very bad for you. I always preach. I know a lot of guys who I used to work with did that. Right? I don't know how people operate like this, but they'll wake up, roll out of bed, brush their teeth and leave like literally within 15 minutes of waking up. I never did that. I always woke up an hour before work. Even if I was starting work at like 3 a.m. Sometimes I would start work at 3 a.m. I'd be up at 2 a.m. So make sure you wake up with enough time in the morning to actually be able to factor in 10 minutes just for checking on what the market has done overnight. Because you don't want to go into the day blindsided, struggling to find your levels because you haven't got a clue where the market is right now while you're at work. The key is being at work and being prepared. This is what we're leading up to. Pillar 1, doing your analysis before you go to sleep. Pillar 2, waking up and actually pillar 2, doing your analysis before you go to sleep. Pillar 3, waking up and doing analysis before you go to work. 10 minutes, guys, 10 minutes. That's all you need. And it just sets you up so you're prepared. You're ready for exactly what to look for when you're at work. Now, it's simple from here on out. Like pillar 4 is just going to be setting your alerts and monitoring your areas while you're at work. Now, I get it. Look, sometimes you aren't able while you're at work to fucking look at your phone. You maybe have some Karen of a boss. Maybe you have, really strict rules. I get it. Not all jobs you can. I was lucky enough when I was actually working as a warehouse manager that I kind of had the freedom to be able to check my phone if I wanted to check my phone. But I get it, right? A lot of guys and a lot of people who are trading and working normal jobs, they aren't able to be on their phone as much. So that's completely fine. You have breaks for a reason. Now, I think the entitlement in the UK, correct me if I'm wrong, is like half an hour. That's minimum, or maybe it's 45 minutes, I'm not sure, but I believe it's half an hour for an 8-hour shift or whatever it is. And that's what you're required to take if you work a job legally. So half an hour is more than enough time to mark out your charts. Like I said, I did it 15 minutes on my first break in London session and half an hour on New York session for my second break. And I would set my alerts at levels where I knew price was going to be coming into for potential entries. And that's exactly what's going to set you up for being able to place buy or sell limits, which is pillar 5. Pillar 5 is buy or sell limits. Now, you're not going to really be able to do market executions while you're working a job. You're active, you're on your toes, you're moving, or maybe you're in an office and you're in an environment where you can't just back out your phone, watch the markets for it to actually offer the entry in real time. So you're going to have to set buy or sell limits based on a higher time frame. Yes, you're not going to be able to trade no 1 minute time frame BS, right? Number one, it's not a good system anyway. Even if you were unemployed like myself, I do not sit here trading a 1 minute time frame. But the 5, the 15, right? I wouldn't even say 5 if you're working a job. The 15 minute, the 30 minute, and the 1 hour time frame are perfect time frames for you to enter off of. They're higher time frames, even the 4 hour you could go up to. And these time frames mean that you can actually set buy or sell limits without monitoring 1 minute price action, because you see everything from a broader perspective and you can actually just pretty much set and forget. So yeah, place buy or sell limits and trade based off of higher time frame, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, and it will literally by then, where on your breaks, the trade will be there, right? If the trade's not there, then it's just a no trading day. And that sometimes happens. Not every trade, not every day is a trading day, and that can happen. But regardless, right, you should know by then, right, on your breaks, a lot of you 9-to-5ers will be taking breaks like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., start a New York session, whatever it is, where to actually put your buy or sell limit, okay? And if it's not manifested by then throughout London session and throughout the start of New York session, the crossover between London and New York, then maybe there's not a trade for today. Maybe there's not a trade for today. Same for London session. You may even be able to place a buy or sell limit when you do your pre-market analysis before work, right? Your pre-work analysis. So before you head to work, you may actually notice that coming into London session, there's a level that you potentially could take a trade from, right? A buy sell limit based on an hour FVG or an hour liquidity sweep that you've seen happen in the crossover between Asia and London session. Therefore, you can set your buy limit, set your sell limit, and go to work and let London session do its thing, all right? Which leads on to pillar 6, and it's the final pillar. And I know it sounds cliche because there's a huge trading figure who actually preaches this as his brand, but it's set and forget. Okay, when you are working, you do not want to be obsessed with monitoring the charts and looking at your trade. Number one is I don't want to get you fired. It's going to distract you from the job at hand, right? What you're actually getting paid for and what the bills being like, literally how you're covering your bills. You don't want to get fired and lose your fucking job, right? So that's the last thing we want. So set and forget. You don't want to be pulling out your phone every 2 minutes, checking if this trade is played out or not, checking if it's coming to your buy limit or sell limit, right? Checking if it's hit your stop loss or take profit. No, I trade a fixed 1 to 2 system. 1 to 2 system is exactly what you need to be profitable. All right, you don't need to trade 1 to 5s, 1 to 10. You don't need to be taking entries on the 1 minute time frame. A 1 to 2, you don't need to be managing positions, right? That's a facade. People who teach you to manage positions are unprofitable. Right? I can tell you that for a fact, because the more you manage your positions, the more psychology comes into play. When you are literally trading based on moving stops to break even or closing partials while you're in profit, whatever, that's not decided by a system, that's decided by how you feel. Oh, I don't like this closure, I'm gonna take some partials. Oh, I don't like how, price could reverse. I feel like I may lose this trade, so I'm gonna move my stops to break even. It's all based on feeling, not the setup. All my guys know to execute and to either hit a 4% win based on risking 2%, right, for a 2 risk to reward, or a 2% loss. And the journals are all consistent across the board. There's not random 1% or 5% or 10% mixed results. Fixed results throughout their whole sample sizes that we track, because we know consistency. So therefore, don't manage your positions, set and forget. You're either gonna finish work, right? Or maybe you get a spare 5 minutes before you finish work to be able to check if it actually has hit your TP or not. But when you finish work and you clock out and you do whatever the fuck you're doing, right? Check your phone and you'll either be in a 4% win or a 2% loss. And that is exactly how it should be. Regardless if it's a win or loss, you're gonna be consistent, right? Just follow that system, a 6-pillar system. Number one, know your sessions. Whether you can trade London session, New York session, where your breaks are around your day, understanding if you can trade pre-London, whatever it is, know your sessions and exactly when your breaks are, when you're going to be able to place them buy or sell limits. Number two, do your pre-sleep analysis. Make sure before you go bed, you know exactly what that day did and what you're looking for the next day. Number three, be prepared for war. Wake up, spend 10 minutes literally looking at the charts, right? For you lazy fuckers, like I said, who wake up late, spend 10 minutes making sure that you know exactly what is going to happen on that day based on just reviewing the daily closure from the night before, reviewing exactly what Asia session did, whether it's ranged or whatever, right? Do your pre-work analysis. And then number four, let your alerts do the talking. Set your alerts, use TradingView to set alerts on your charts at key zones based on your pre-work analysis that tells you exactly where you should be looking for trades. Boom. When that alert goes off, you know exactly now's the time to start actually actively looking to set buy or sell limits. Number five, set buy or sell limits. And number six, set and forget. 1 to 2 risk for reward, fixed profits, no managing positions, stress-free trading, and just literally be as consistent as possible. I hope you guys took some value from this video. Implement this, and trust me, I did this for a while, right? Before I was trying to manage positions, trading at SMC while I was at work, before I was stressing, right? Because I was scalping trades and going for insane risk to reward and watching the 1 minute time frame while I'm serving customers or while I'm doing something in the warehouse. And it just wasn't working for me. I was super stressed out at work and I was super distracted pretty much from not only the charts, but the job at hand. And what I want to say to you guys is trade a small fixed system, 1 to 2, be consistent, have a plan that actually serves you and works around your job. And if you need help building that plan, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I'll link it in the description and we can set a game plan literally that works for you and serves you, instead of just being a headless chicken running around trying to figure this shit out and quit your 9 to 5.